Hello, this is Mike with SIMA, bringing you cross-selling final expense. And this recorded webinar, we're going to go over how to cross-sell final expense at your appointments, how to prepare for it, and how to make more money each month. So final expense, why final expense? Well, it's an easy product to explain. I mean, it's one of the more basic life insurance products out there. You pay X amount per month and you get X amount of dollars when you pass. The other thing that I stress with my clients, it's a when policy. It's not a matter of if they will pass away, it's a matter of when they will pass away. With traditional health insurance policies, and ancillary products such as cancer, home health, short-term care, long-term care, etc., those policies may not ever be needed. They may not ever have cancer, may never need short-term care or long-term care insurance. However, there's a very high probability of 100% that they are going to pass away. So they are going to take advantage of a life insurance or final expense policy. And it's usually the only form of life insurance available once you reach 65 and older. If you're 60 years old and take a 20-year term out, at age 80 it expires. So at age 81, you now no longer have life insurance. So before you go out in the field, it's a matter of getting prepared. I recommend having at least 2 to 3 carriers with at least one guaranteed issue option. That way you cover pretty much all your possible underwriting needs. And you really want to get to know these products. You want to get to know their underwriting. What's the look back period on cancer, on heart attacks, and other illnesses? How do they handle diabetics, etc.? Rate calculations, make a cheat sheet. When I was in the field, I took my final expense products and made a cheat sheet for each level of coverage they have, like male, smoker, and I did 3 different levels of coverage. I did 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. So that way, okay, for $5,000 of coverage, I'd look at my little Excel spreadsheet, and there it was, and I just printed them out as PDFs and had them there as reference for myself. And then get to know the application as well. The more familiar you are with the application, the quicker you can fill out and the easier the process becomes. So don't overcomplicate it. Final expense is a relatively simple sale. There's no need to make it any more complex than it has to be. So organize, make sure you're organized. Of course, it makes it easier to do business when you know where everything is. Make the applications and materials easy to access. And like I said, I did rate sheets and I put them all in the 3-ring binder. So I had my rate sheets on top, and then behind those, I bought those little pockets you could buy for 3-ring binders, and I had the carrier materials in the front, and you flip it over in the back pocket. I had the applications and the backside. So there were little inserts with the 3-ring hole punches you could put in there. So my 2 to 3 carriers, I typically had 3 carriers. I had the rate sheets on top, and then the folder, then the next carrier, and the next carrier. So I mean, easy access. I just pull up my binder and we can talk about what we were looking at. So now the challenge is, now that you get contracted 2 to 3 carriers, you make your rate sheets, you familiarize yourself with the application and the underwriting. The hard part is getting seniors to talk about final expense, because no one wants to talk about dying or funerals. Unless they bring it up, you're going to have to take the initiative to cross that bridge. And you may have to dig for details, no pun intended there, but it's true. I mean, a lot of people have told me, yeah, already made preparations. Great. What are they? Well, we bought plots. They didn't have any funeral plans or way to pay for it. All they did was buy plots, and that in their mind was all the planning they needed. So, and again, that kind of jumped ahead there, but so don't be afraid to ask. If they just bought plots, well, what are you going to do about your funeral? Are you going to be cremated? Are you going to be buried? What's going to happen? And many will try to change the subject as soon as possible. And if that's the case, let it go. There's no point in upsetting or making the clients or prospects in an uncomfortable situation, because then it could cost you the original sale of why you were there. So some simple phrases to transition over to final expense. What plans have you made for final wishes? I know this is an unpleasant subject for some, but what final arrangements have you made? The reason I ask is I work with several companies that offer planning assistance, and some final expense companies have either final expense or planning booklets, or work with other organizations that can help them make their plans. And the one I use the most is the other main reason, just as important side of coverage, is life insurance. What policies do you currently have? And they would tell me about their policies, and I would explain to them that life insurance is the easiest and most effective way to pass funds to your loved ones. Life insurance proceeds are passed probate and tax-free to their loved ones. If they pass a CD or money market account to their loved ones, it's going to be taxed as income. So 30% of that, what they get, will go right to taxes or whatever their tax bracket is. With life insurance, they get to keep all the money that comes to them. So really, what it boils down to is you just need to ask. More than likely, again, you'll have to bring it up, and that's fine. Because if you don't ask, they won't either, and there's no way of having the sale that way. So gather some local resources if you can. There's a website called funerals.org, and they have all kinds of information about funerals and consumer information. Some areas of the country, more metropolitan areas, they actually have funeral cost spreadsheets where they go around to all the major funeral providers and get costs, which is a great piece to have. And as you can see here, even if you only sell 2 a month, that can yield an extra $900+ a month. You figure $50 premium at 100% contract with a 9-month advance, that's $450 for each application with that 9-month advance. So you sell only two a month, and easily close to $1,000 a month. So there is a life insurance fact sheet that I do have. I did put it as life insurance, not final expense, because most people don't know what final expense insurance is, but they know what life insurance is. So the top part there, traditional funerals, as you can see, it's $8,343 for the average funeral in America, according to National Funeral Directors in 2012. Now, if they say they want cremation, if they want a service, they can get cremation pretty expensive, but if they want a service and cremation, they're looking at about $3,700, as you can see there. And then I also did a little section on life insurance versus prepaid funerals. And the thing about prepaid funerals is these are what the funeral homes traditionally sell. So this is per se your competition in the field. And some advantages of life insurance versus prepaid is directly to the funeral home, so the family doesn't get any of the money, even if there's some left over. A funeral home will probably more likely spend it. It may not keep up with inflation. They may have additional expenses, and it may not be transferable. And I've seen this happen more often than not, where the family goes in, their loved one bought a prepaid funeral or their prepaid plan, and the funeral home needs extra money for extra services or extra things that maybe they didn't think about or didn't discuss. But I've seen numerous families shell out thousands of dollars in extra fees and services that maybe they didn't plan for. Now, not to say that funeral homes are bad and they all are evil and they all do this, but it's just something to make your clients aware of, that just because you prepaid for it now doesn't mean it can cover all the expenses down the road. So, of course, life insurance is paid directly to their loved ones. It's tax-free. The extra funds, if there are any, are theirs to keep. So they could, negotiate a little better with the funeral homes if they can, and can be used at any funeral home or establishment. Of course, with the final expense policy, they can always tie it to a funeral home, but if they choose not to. So in review, contract with 2 to 3 carriers. Make sure you do have a guaranteed issue option. Practice and organize the app and rate calculations, and practice your transition phrases. Don't be afraid to bring it up. Many will say no, but as we saw before, only a couple yeses a month can greatly increase your monthly income. And then go out there and sell it. Don't be afraid to present it. Now, that piece I showed you, the life insurance facts, I never handed that out. You could modify it. We left it in Word format, so if you want to put your name on it and leave it behind, I never left it behind, but of course that's up to you. So at this point of the webinar, we took some questions and answers. Obviously, this is a recorded version. We don't have that, but we do have a quick note. If you were non-pro, definitely go pro. But if you're watching this, you are a pro member, and we thank you for that. So for more resources, information, visit us at SIMA at SIMA-net.com.